Hey everybody, I'm back. I'm Andrew, and I am attempting to complete an assignment that I believe was given to me by God when I asked directly for it with praise and thanksgiving, and then asking God what I can do. For Him, I had it in my mind and in my heart to write about my experience. So I wrote a book called Beyond Recovery. And right now, I'm going to read 3 or 4 pages from it and then talk about the writing for a minute. I'm going to try not to catch myself in the reading because I want to edit or change, or, of course, things have changed since 2017. All right, without further ado, Beyond Recovery. What to do after the shift. All right, in this book, I will share my personal experience about my victory over a life of addiction. My hope is that anyone else, will benefit from my story. Today is January the 15th, 2017. It marks my 5th year of my new life. Yes, I quit drinking on my birthday on January the 15th. I once suffered from a heartbreak and self-pity induced misery. Alcohol and infidelity were a couple of my most destructive tools. I became aware that the God I believed in was not a God of destruction, yet a God of construction and restoration. In fact, to my knowledge, God does not destroy anything. The only things that God would allow to be destroyed would be in preparation for another new creation to come about. For the first year, I struggled through sobriety. After all, I had been a practicing alcoholic for 12 plus years. I had practiced it so long that had become my identity. I came across some information through mentorship that convinced me I would have to change my thinking first in order to change my actions second, and finally be able to change the results that I got. This meant pretty much everything I had come to know or believe about myself was about to change, ultimately making a new identity my goal, not sobriety, a new identity. This is the story of how a miserable, broke, pretty much useless alcoholic became an interesting, prosperous, extremely useful part of society and God's plan of joy and well-being, with a life full of joy, prosperity, love, and happiness. All right, chapter 1. Only recently, after 4 years on a successful path, I have begun to realize what a charge it is to have been saved from living out my days in misery. Most people never wake up from this self-induced paradigm, much less set themselves free from the prison of anxiety and fear. God used many people to shine the light in my darkness. However, a few in particular loved me past my shortcomings and character defects. They came into my mental storehouse of failure, misery, and path of endless destruction, constant self-sabotage, and reminded me of who I really was, my true identity. As soon as I quit struggling with the fact that someone could actually love me, I woke up. Then is when I found out I was going to have a child. This is when I began to realize I already had joy, love, support, encouragement, happiness in my life, actually in an infinite supply. These qualities were the opposite of what I had been focusing my attention, energy, and thoughts and words on. The phrase infinite supply is noteworthy here. I am now a successful, talented business owner, facilities manager, husband, and father. It did not happen overnight. In fact, the 4th year is when I really began to appreciate what had happened to me. Like the prodigal son was welcomed back and celebrated, I remembered who I was and who and what I was created to be. Okay, many times in the Bible, people believe God can save or heal them. Their journey in life was one of believing God could heal them if they could just get in His presence. The greatest opportunity for this occurred when God became man and lived on earth in a body that we know today as Jesus Christ. Jesus is quoted saying things to these people like, "It was your faith that made you whole," or I have never seen this much faith, or your faith has healed you. These people were seeking or searching for God and healing. They expected to be healed and saved. I did not and would not have fallen into this category, meaning I did not want to. I was happy in my misery. Other times, God or Jesus will go out of His way to bring a lost sheep back to the flock. I believe when God does this, He has a great usefulness or purpose for this person. If we expand on the sheep analogy, we gain an interesting perspective. The majority of the sheep will live out their lives under the care and supervision of the provider and shepherd. Only one or two sheep can offer an insight as to what it feels like to be alone at night, or chased by wolves, or completely lost, etc. My point is, if you were lost and then found, you will undoubtedly have a unique perspective given to you from your grass is greener on the other side experience. I am not encouraging anyone to wander from the grace of a good life simply to gain a unique perspective. I am encouraging anyone that is not on a good path to come home, to know that where you were and what you have done will ultimately become your gift and your perspective you can share with others to help enrich lives and benefit mankind as a whole. If you are not lost, simply ask God or the universal intelligence, what is my assignment? What is my gift to give? How can I display goodness and kindness? How can I be a benefit to mankind? Ask these empowering questions enough times in prayer and meditation, and answers will come. However, if you are lost or on a path that you are not sure how to get there, how you got there, you should come home to your natural self. Take heart in the fact that God and the universal intelligence, whatever you call it, will use your previous experience to make your assignment unique and influential to others. There is more joy in heaven for a sinner who is lost and found. Your unique experience can be looked upon with condemnation and considered a curse or a disease, or at the very least, a waste of time. I'm inviting you to look on your mistakes from the past with sympathy and forgiveness and begin to praise your present situation and your future. Consider the past conditioning or molding from that almighty intelligence, universal intelligence Himself. Praised, the same situation can go from being a curse to being a gift. Praised, the same situation can go from being a curse to a gift. All right, I'm going to stop there right now because I'm 8 minutes deep or something. Okay. So yes, in this chapter, I've begun to realize that my life is completely different. I have a new identity, and so I didn't set out to become sober. I did at first, but I set out to become who I wanted to be, or who I thought God would want me to be, or somebody I could be proud of, or that my father, even though he's not here, would be proud of. And so I set out for a new identity. I did away with the old one, just totally. Some characteristics carried over. For instance, my music. My love affair with music began long before my love affair with alcohol. And luckily, I still enjoy playing music immensely. But in this chapter, it had dawned on me that I was not seeking God. I was living in the darkness on purpose, and then I was pulled out. And so I thought to myself that that's a unique charge. God doesn't rescue people that he doesn't have a use for or a purpose for. And so I began to realize, and then, like I said, instead of looking at, I used to be an alcoholic as like a shameful thing to admit, or a disease, or something that still plagues me, I began to look at it and look on myself with a soft heart of, well, look, I can forgive myself. And I won't earn my way out, but I'm going to forgive myself, and that means a lot of people get confused about forgiveness, and I've researched and studied and tried to practice it, and it kind of meant letting me start new, not holding me to those old standards anymore, or expecting me to mess up. I would, even if I did mess up, I would forgive myself and say, well, look, it's all right. That doesn't mean we give up on the plan. I'm not giving up on the plan just because I messed up one time. And eventually, I got a new identity. I wasn't sober Andrew that wanted a drink. I was sober Andrew that enjoyed his new identity of giving and being creative, and I love that too. And I think creativity is something that people should really hold in the same light as compassion or kindness or forgiveness or generosity. So we see those things as synonymous with God or your higher power, most likely. Creativity is as well. I'm a Christian. I believe God is the Almighty Creator. He made me in His image. So when I'm being creative, I'm actually close to God. I'm participating in ineffable substance. So I love to be creative. But the few pages I got to read today are about having some confidence that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, what you consider to be your curse can ultimately be your blessing. I've found that now in the ministry, I can connect with people in a way that other people may not be able to. Or when someone comes in talking about, I can just read. I can read people, and from living that life I did, I always know, like, the majority of the time things are worse than people are willing to tell you. So I began to praise God for that experience and for letting me survive through the darkness, so I would have a unique perspective to offer other people. And the perspective, it's, you look at anything, and my children like to watch Disney movies and stuff, and almost everywhere you look, that you see this something someone considers as a curse, and it being turned on its head and becoming the blessing. Well, the majority of that is our thought matter and our heart matter, and the thought stuff, as the magic of believing refers to it as. So if I look at my past of alcoholism as a curse and condemn it, then it becomes this this bag I carry around that I can hold resentment for. I laugh, but my identity is so different now today that I don't have to think back very far to remember carrying that around with me and condemning it, and thinking, well, good things could happen, but not really good things because I used to do this. But looking back on it with praise and thanking God for getting me through it and bringing me through it, I've realized it's a blessing. And I had friends and people I associated with that didn't make it, and so I wondered why me, and then I got past that and I was like, well, I did, so I probably should share how it came about and what happened with me. But this passage from the book is empowering. It does not make us powerless. It actually gives us a lot of ability to change what's going on and what we want to do with our lives. Because I have mixed feelings about a God that's powerless in my life. I'm not sure. But yeah, in this passage, I do mention, I realized I was going to have to change my thoughts. And if I could change my thoughts, it would change my actions. And then my actions would change the results. No more relapses. No more even desire for drink. If I change my thoughts. And it took quite some time. I mean, I was 30 something, and I like to think of my mind as a computer. So there was a lot of bad, processing in there that had to be rewritten, and a lot of it, I wish I could have just done a wipe clean of all the stuff on the hard drive and start back over, but I didn't. So I had to orientate, reorientate, and then reorientate. I had to reprogram. I had to delete a lot of bad programming and start to put in good information. And I mentioned later in the book, I compared my mind to a computer again, and every morning I would wake up, turn the hard drive on, and it would say, do you want to go to www.iamsodepressed.com again this morning? And thoughts? So I had to override it and say, no, iamsograteful.com. And I had to put that into the taskbar and search engine enough days in a row to where one day I woke up and I didn't think I am so depressed. I thought, I'm so grateful. 18 minutes. Time sure goes by fast when you're enjoying yourself. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for the platform. I really hope someone ends up stumbling into this material or bumping into some sort of awareness because of this material. And I'm Andrew, and thanks again, and subscribe if you want to hear me read the rest of the book or you're interested in any of it. And any questions, feel free to comment. Thanks. Have a good one.